Mark, I'm the Director of Finance here at Westboro, and we're excited to welcome you to our first of 2 winter concerts. Tonight we will feature our jazz band, our orchestras, and our 7th grade band. And tomorrow, if you're not doing anything, we'd love to see you at our orchestra and, the 8th grade band and chorus concert. Before we begin tonight, I'd like to thank our wonderful administration. Joining us tonight, we have Superintendent Allison Borchers. Thank you for all of your support. And we also have Mr. Jack Foley, our principal here, who's joining us. Thank you. I just want to thank Westboro TV for filming tonight's performance. It will be available on their YouTube channel tomorrow. So thank you for filming that for us today as well. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the wonderful staff that is working with students all year long. To my left, we have Mr. Greg Robbins. Your orchestra director. And Mr. Evan Doyle, our substitute. And thank you for all of your support, whether that's taking your lessons or taking the rehearsals. We really appreciate all of your support. We couldn't do this without you. So let's have a round of applause for our parents. Thank you so much. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Gibbons Middle School Jazz Band.
One, two, three.
gentlemen, welcome in. Hello to my friends here at school and to all of our families and friends and to our friends watching online on the Westboro TV. We thank you so much for joining us on this very windy and interestingly wet night. And you know, as I was just sharing with my friends here in band, wow, I'm glad I didn't program Let It Snow. But why not something about rain? And it actually worked out. But before we move on, I want to just recognize one more time the soloist you heard on our first title, C-Jam Blues. That would be, of course, Sahana on alto saxophone, Robert on tenor saxophone, Ara on trumpet, and Julian on the keyboard. Another round of applause for us. So in addition to working, of course, on playing a new style of music, a new idiom of music, and learning about how to play certain articulations and grooves and all the different feels that we might have come up here in our jazz ensemble, we're also working on all being our best improvisers. So I welcome all of the friends in the jazz band here as we meet twice a week before school to just put their best self forward. And what's been really wonderful is that everybody has been open and willing to improvising and just kind of learning the language together and putting themselves out there and working to speak and share some of their own ideas. So all of the solos you hear this night are all made up on their own. We've been sharing about different ways in which we might approach how to improvise, but everything you hear from them when they come up to the mic over here is all their own stuff. I'm very, very proud and I'm pleased to share the progress they're making with you. As I shared with you, our first piece, that was C-Jam Blues, a traditional 12-bar blues form. And as we move now, we're going to play a ballad for you by Johnny Burke and Jimmy Van Heusen, and that's titled Here's That Rainy Day, as I shared so fittingly for this evening. So we opened with a blues, we moved over to a ballad. Now we're going to share our version of funk to the best of our ability. And so we have this great tune, made very famous by this guy named Herbie Hancock, really fantastic pianist, an arrangement from Michael Sweeney that we've edited and made our very own. This is Chameleon, and it is going to feature our friend Mr. Wade on trombone, Anish on saxophone, and we'll have a dueling trumpet feature with Akil and Meg. Again, we thank you for joining us. This is our Gibbons Middle School Jazz Band. We'll have a brief transition after this next title. But thank you so much for sharing your children with me, for getting them to us early, twice a week. We will not have jazz band tomorrow morning. They took a vote. That's okay. I'm on board with that, but we will meet both days next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So here is Chameleon.
as we got settled. This time of year, we always have a lot of tuning issues, so thanks for your patience as we kind of stop and fix those along the way. My name is Kristen Chartier, and this group that you see here in front of you is the Gibbons Chamber Orchestra. This is a really dedicated group of students who meet once weekly after school, and they've been a great group to work with so far this year. Before we start the first of our two pieces, I also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that we have a high school bassist joining us and filling in our bass section this evening. So let's hear it for Al Rainier. friendly to string instruments, so we had to fix a few slipped strings there. This is the Gibbons Middle School Orchestra. They have been a great group to work with so far this year. They are making amazing progress and have come a long way since the first week of school. The first piece on our program is, I think, one of the pieces we've had the most fun working on so far this year. It is a programmatic work, meaning a work that tells a story, and you'll hear some sort of like non-traditional sounds happening throughout. It is titled Creatures by Brian Balmages.
Good evening. On stage you see your Gibbons Middle School 7th grade band. These young musicians have been hard at work so far over the last trimester and the beginning of the second one, putting together this concert program. Those of you who were in attendance at our Bandorama performance, you'll remember this first selection perhaps, because it's the same one we performed then, and it's just such a fun tune. We spent a little bit of time refining it and making some things more expressive, hopefully. But this one is like our Friends in the Orchestra, their first piece by Brian Balmages. This one is also a programmatic piece. It's not necessarily meant to tell a story, but it's meant to sort of elicit a specific sort of vibe. It's based on a game called Ghosts in the Graveyard, but the composer decided to kind of stray away from the game itself and rather make it more about what it would be like to find yourself in a graveyard full of little haunts and ghouls. And so you'll hear a lot of percussion effects. You'll hear some screaming. Don't worry, there's nothing to fear. It's just a 7th grade band playing Ghosts in the Graveyard. Thank you very much. Now, as is appropriate on this balmy December evening, we're going to take a moment to slow things down a little bit with a classic wintertime melody from England from the composer Gustav Holst. This is a lovely setting of In the Bleak Midwinter. Before we close things out with our final selection of the evening, I want to take an opportunity to reiterate all the thank yous that Mr. Martin gave earlier in the program and offer a especially big thanks to my colleagues here in performing arts at Gibbons. We have Kristen Chartier and Craig Robbins and Joe Silitano. We have a lot of fun making music with these outstanding young people, and it's great to have such amazing supportive colleagues. I also want to thank him, because he wouldn't thank himself, that would be weird. Thank Chris Martin for his support of our programs and his constant guidance and help along the way. Thank you all for making music part of your children's lives, shuttling to and fro everywhere. Thank you for being here tonight to support your students' growth as musicians and as artists and as people. And before we close, I just want to make sure you know what you're about to hear. This is a really fun piece. It's by a composer named Timothy Loest. And it's called Fiesta Española. It's not programmatic. It's just done in the style of Spanish music, which has some distinctive colors from percussion, some certain melodic patterns you'll hear that'll sound very familiar. And this one has been a lot of fun to put together for these guys. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoy our time this evening.